don't know how well this will come across to you. I think it sort of looks cooler on the phone than it does in real life, but it's a beautiful sunset tonight. The sky, as far as I can see it, is aglow with this beautiful orangey peach fading to lovely crisp grey blue. It's just stunning. Sunsets this time of year are quite beautiful. This crisp air is just so refreshing. Probably won't show up so well, but I have the opportunity, since I'm outside now, to show you my latest acquisition. Also, that's the nightlight just came on. Whilst I was back in the UK, I bought up this hanging fairy light for my peach tree to complement the ones that I've got on my fence. I like this sort of thing very much, so I was very pleased with that. I wish I'd have got more, but you never quite know how these things are going to work out, so one for now. I guess if I wanted more, I'm probably going to have to get them posted, but anyway. Lovely evening. See you tomorrow. Welcome to Sunday. As mentioned, I have been wood processing today, so I thought I'd just cover an aspect of the wood processing that I don't normally cover, and that's because I acknowledge the point of this vlog was partly to demonstrate how boring this sort of life is, and this is even more boring than normal, but basically that's like putting everything back to how it was. So for those of you who are new, the chainsaw that I use is an electric Ryobi chainsaw. It operates via a battery. So I have quite a lot of Ryobi equipment. I've got the reciprocating saw, there's some things to do with decorating, and I've got a lawnmower and a strimmer. So it just made sense to stick to that brand because I already had the batteries. So every single time I use it, I give the chain a sharpen, and I actually had to stop midway this time and sharpen the chain because there was quite a lot of wood of quite a big size too, so I'll have sharpened the chain twice today after this wood processing. Anyway, I gather little and often is the way to go with sharpening a chain, so I have covered the device I use for sharpening chains already, so look that up if you're interested. So I'm just going to give this a quick sharpen, and then I'll move on to the next post wood processing task, and I'll take you along with me. Just one final word. Prior to getting the Ryobi, have used this very, very powerful Husqvarna petrol chainsaw for all of our woodworking, but I find it difficult to even start that, let alone use it. It's heavy and cumbersome. So I wanted a little chainsaw that I could use independently of Will, which would mean that I would be able to accomplish more tasks on the property on my own, which would speed things up. I saved and was able to buy one. And as you may or may not know, I've been away in the UK for 3 weeks. I've just got back about a week ago. And it's winter here, so there's a constant need for wood for our range, which just eats it. Luckily, I've got a lot of it. And Will couldn't stop raving about how much he enjoyed using the electric chainsaw. Not necessarily particularly this one. This isn't a bad chainsaw. I really like it. It suits what I want it to do. But he did say that when the time comes to replace the Husqvarna, he's very, very keen to replace it with an electric, probably Husqvarna. So it'll still be more powerful than the Ryobi. It'll have a longer blade. But he's sold on electric chainsaws, which is excellent. We're off-grid here, so all of our power comes from our solar panels. So charging our batteries basically is free, unlike the petrol for that, which is more and more expensive. So I was delighted that he's so keen on the electric chainsaws. I think they're excellent. They've revolutionised my life, and this is one of the best things I've ever bought. back to the boring tasks. This is the pile of wood that I managed to process, and this is the sawdust that resulted, and this is like where some of the wood I put whilst I was waiting to process it. So I like to keep this area tidy, so pretty much after every time I've chainsawed, I grab my wheelbarrow wheel pending. Hopefully we'll be getting that tomorrow. So you may remember it's a bit flat. I'm going to rectify that by just replacing it with one that doesn't need to be blown up. And anyway, so yes, my other equipment is my leaf rake and my giant hands, which look like this, which I'm able to pick up the piles with and put them in my wheelbarrow. The reason I got these actually was because when I was working on picking up leaves one late spring rather, prior to summer, I happened across a very, very small snake in amongst the leaf litter. So I decided that I wanted like a degree of separation between my hands and whatever might be lurking, be it dangerous spiders, tiny snakes, scorpions. In and of themselves, these things actually aren't that dangerous, but I want to mitigate against the danger as much as I can. So I've got my plastic hands so that I'm never really touching anything that could hurt me. And obviously I always wear my gloves too. So anyway, I will now set about tidying this up, putting it in my semi-functioning wheelbarrow and taking it over to my bonfire, which is over there. And that'll be that job done for the day. By the way, if you're wondering, these are choughs. They just sort of wandered over whilst I was chatting. That's kind of what they do. They can fly, obviously, but well, I suppose it's not obvious. They can fly, but they're amongst the few birds we have on our property which seem to just prefer walking, wonka pigeons included. Well, welcome to Tuesday. Wheelbarrow wheel update. So here's my prostrate wheelbarrow and my old wheel, which was beyond being inflatable. So probably that's an inner tube job, but I decided to go more fancy and I bought this, apparently you don't need to blow it up, wheel. So I was concerned very about making sure it fitted. So I even took the axle with me to Bunnings, where I bought it from, and I measured it, and it's 25mm, and it says very clearly on the box, all Sherlock wheelbarrows with 25mm axles. So fingers crossed, although this wheel is much wider than the one it came with, this bit's the bit that matters, and hopefully I'll be able to fit it on. So I'm going to have a go at doing that now. Can't film that one-handed, so hopefully this will be a case of before and after. Well, it fitted, so they weren't lying. And what I like about this is there's none of those pesky little vents coming out. Well, whatever they're called, not vents, valves, that's it. None of these pesky little valves coming out of it at an awkward angle. I got this wider wheel because apparently it provides greater stability, and considering the difficulty of my terrain, not just the undulations of the lawn, but obviously the fact the ground is covered in rocks, covered in branches, covered in twigs, covered in leaves. I thought that would be helpful. Nice and solid. So fingers crossed I never have to buy another wheel for my wheelbarrow. Job done. That was dead easy. Literally I just loosened this, pulled the screw out, this bar came off, the axle sits inside. So they were just to slide the axle and the wheel off, take the wheel off, take the axle with me, and then basically just inserted the axle in the hole, slid it into here, slid that on over the axle, and then screwed it and tightened it back up. So if I can do it, anyone can do it, quite literally, because I am an umpty. This is the other task I was thinking of trying to do today. Cars and car maintenance aren't really a major feature of my channel, but these covers of the headlights are a bit misty and foggy, and as I've said before, as I'm not that bothered about taking massively good care of my car, I do nevertheless get it regularly serviced. I feel like just like little bits of jobs like this maybe I should do something about. So whilst I was in Bunnings, I noticed this little kit for turning them from glary, like corroded like mine are, to nice and new apparently, so it's got everything I need. I knew I'd need a clarifying compound, but it's got all this kind of stuff in it. That's what it looks like, so I thought I'd have a quick stab at that now, see if I can make some improvements on my headlights. So let's see how that goes. I thought I'd give you a quick update on some of the things we were doing earlier. And for anyone who's new here, yes, I do know I look like this. I always look like this. My clothes, my hands, the very air I breathe is full of soot after the bushfire went through my property, and all my trees, if I spin you round, went black. So every time I process wood, I get covered in soot. Anyway, a couple of quick updates. So I've, as you remember, put a new wheel on my barrow. That noise is currawongs. Hope you can hear me. Anyway, I put a new wheel on my barrow. And it's excellent. I actually have a secondary barrow, same problem. Perennially flat tyre, so I'm going to maybe see if I can replace this one with a similar tyre, but I'll have to work it out. It's a different type of barrow. But then it'll be good, then I'll have two, albeit this one's very heavy because it's constructed out of a different material. And then lastly, Operation Headlights. Look at that. Now, they're not perfect, and this one was the worst one to begin with, but I hope you can see much better, so I hope that makes my life a bit safer and I can see better in the dark or whatever. I don't know. I didn't realise, by the way, that it was possible to do that. I assumed I would just have to buy new plastic, so the only reason I discovered that was possible because I happened to watch a Drive Tribe video where they were doing similar to one of their cars. So credit where it's due, thank you Drive Tribe. You've helped me make a minor improvement to my car, which is about as much as I can be bothered making on my car. Welcome to a chilly Wednesday morning. You might be able to see the smoke gently drifting from the chimney. I'm down here. This is the track that goes up to the house. That's one of our tanks, the house tank. That's Will's shed and the solar cupboard, snake shed, compostery, tree that fell over, orchard, wood store, pond walk. So just to put it into context, I'm at this area here, and what I'll be doing today is thinning this plant. After the fires, this area was all cleared, and I've been trying to keep it clear for the 50-metre perimeter around the house that I'm allowed to. So that is the shrubs and these bushy plants, without a permit you're allowed to thin them 50 metres from the house. So this is well within that. So I want to do that for fire management purposes, but also aesthetic purposes. I don't like how this looks. It's too much of a monocultural thicket. So what I will do is thin out a lot of it, but not all of it. I don't want to eradicate any plants from the property, but I just want to keep them in manageable quantities. So that's what I'll be working on today. There we go. I hope you can see the difference. As I say, I didn't want to eradicate the plant, but I don't like it when there's just such a dense thicket of one type of plant. And I like the sense of being able to see through, so it was just like a wall, and aesthetically unpleasing, but also I felt dangerous. By the way, this is all part of what I call Operation Perimeter. So now that we're in winter and I'm able to have bonfires and clear stuff more quickly, I'm turning my attention to re-establishing my 50 metres cleared from around the house. We can have 20 of trees and 50 of shrubs. So we're pretty good when it comes to the trees, although I think what I'll start doing is thinning lots of these young trees. I'm able to do that because of their diameter and age. So I think I'll start thinning now that I've pushed them back to the 20 metres. And I'm re-establishing the 50 metres of shrubs, which did grow back after the fire. I've started here, and I'll be working my way around. I'll be clearing this aspect of the pond. That's my 50 metre edge basically on this side of the property. And then I'll be working my way around. This is my little woodland walk where I've got my deciduous trees, so I'll be working on that. And then carrying on around to the state forest fence, which is over there. I've already done a bit of work, as you might have seen, on the Japanese Acer garden, and this part of the house doesn't really need working on. This is my grevillea garden, that's pretty clear anyway, and the state forest fence line is also pretty clear. So it's really just this section all around. And there's not actually a lot to do, but to start off with, I'm clearing the shrubs. I'll probably get some of this grass back as well. Final update. I got the strimmer out and tidied up the grass and smaller plants at the bottom. So now it's looking much nicer, much tidier, which is how I like it. This tall grass is equally as problematic as the shrubs, so it's important to keep that in check as well. So hopefully I can maintain this. It'll be tricky come summer when this grass is just going to go mad again. I've now got other work to do down on the creek walk since I've been away, as you might imagine, if you've been with me for a while. Quite a lot of the pomaderris trees have fallen over in the winds that necessitated me sweeping up the leaves off the lawn last week. So I've got to go and try to take my chainsaw down and process the trees that have fallen over. So unfortunately it's a bit of a maintenance before I can start moving forward on that. Anyway, that's what I'm going to do this afternoon, and this will probably take me up to the end of this week's vlog. So think of me whilst I'm going and doing my chainsawing, and I'll be thinking of you as you're enjoying your weekend, and I will see you next week. Bye.